We are live back in the studio and in the pre-show. It's all good. How's everybody doing out there today? We're glad you could join us. Earlene, welcome back.
Hey, you.
Hey.
You know, I need a little thing that says on the air, off the air.
We are when the music starts.
Well, I know.
That's okay. I know. We get excited every time.
Sometimes that's subjective.
It can be.
Yes. Yeah, we don't always know. But
that's all right.
I'm excited to be back in the studio today.
Yeah, we got some special guests. You want to tell us who they are?
I sure will. We have Judge Executive Troy Koch here, and we have the Otter Creek Campground manager, Zack Butler. And they're here. We're going to talk about Otter Creek, and we're going to talk about all the things that have been happening over the past year or so, obtaining Otter Creek, bringing Otter Creek back into Meade County, which is super exciting. The campground, holy cow. I mean, that has really improved. That has become a big draw out there, hasn't it?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so tell us, let's go ahead and start a little bit with Zack. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you're doing over there with the campgrounds.
Well, with the campground itself, we've been going through and making improvements and investing back into it.
Right.
With what we're bringing in.
Right.
Capital investment.
So I did understand, we were at a luncheon a couple of months ago, and we were talking about the amount of money that you had profited off of the campgrounds, and then all that money was then turned around and put back into it.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
I put a roof on a bathhouse is the first thing I did.
Well, that's good.
And we just finished a major project out there. We have expanded the electric grid and added 18 new sites.
Oh.
These are all pull-through sites, and they'll have frost-free spigots, so they will also be available through the winter.
Oh, that's awesome. So winter camping.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's fun. I mean, so people come out, it's 20, 30 degrees, maybe snow, maybe not, get a big fire going. I bet it's kind of peaceful out there.
Some people like to winter camp. I've seen people out there when it's snowing.
Oh, yeah?
I've been in 40 below in Minnesota camping, so I know all about it. I was a full-timer.
And is that super fun?
If you know how to take care of your rig, it is. It's not fun for the campground if they bust a line in the middle of winter, but yeah. It's actually quite a process to get to, but it's 100% doable.
I think one of the ones that surprised me, and I went camping as a kid in the summertime, but October camping. You know, with all of our Halloween in the park,
and that's coming up. That is not too far away.
It's huge.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
I know
definitely
lots of
at Otter Creek. It is huge.
Lots of Doe Valley families go camping there that particular weekend, and they haul all their Halloween stuff out there, and they decorate their little site, and I guess everybody else does too, and the children go trick-or-treating around through there. I've heard amazing things about it.
Oh, yeah.
And people decorate. I mean, it's an event.
Is it a particular weekend? I know that Halloween is on a Friday this year.
Actually, it's 5 weekends in a row. The entire month of October.
Oh, so it's going to start the first weekend of October and go all the way to the end.
All the way to the end.
And so Halloween in the park.
Halloween in the park. We have several activities planned for that. There's a lot of golf cart parades, karaoke, trick-or-treating. We would like
cornhole. Any cornhole?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Cornhole. Actually installed some horseshoe pits out there not too long ago. So.
Now, see, there's not many people play horseshoes anymore. Like it used to be as big as.
Oh yeah, as cornhole is now.
As cornhole is now.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I was a kid, horseshoes
too many people got hit in the head with it.
Oh yeah,
I know it.
with a horseshoe.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Or it would hit.
You were supposed to
it would
pay
hit and go
attention.
dancing across and hit somebody in
They
the ankle.
probably took it away because people are on their phones while they're trying to play a game. I know. That's like yard darts. They got rid of yard darts too. Well, don't look up. I mean, get out of the way.
I mean, how else do you teach resilience to children these days?
Exactly. Or how to run, right?
Remember those knocker things that had the glass balls and we knock? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, they don't let them have that anymore either.
Well, them yard darts, that sounds like my next activity out there. I'm going to go get some yard darts.
Do it.
Well, you could do I think would be good is like if y'all could put like a 3D archery range and we do it like a Grown Ups, the movie, and just straight up in the air and see where the arrow goes. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
It's
I'm
not
glad
that
you guys
dangerous
are
out there, I
participating with
promise.
us today. So, but anyway, so we have questions for those of you who are watching the show, and you may be new to Meade County. You may be in processing in right now at Fort Knox or somewhere else. So, Otter Creek was it established in 1934? Does anybody know when Otter Creek came to be?
So Otter Creek was originally a part of the Department of Interior, the property, and it was given over to Louisville Metro for their war effort.
Oh, okay.
And that's who owned that park for all the way up until 2011, when it was transferred over to Fish and Wildlife. Louisville Metro actually shut it down in 2009 because of financial reasons and lack of support. And then they went ahead and, like I said, it was transferred over to the state to Fish and Wildlife in 2011. And we are waiting with bated breath for it to be transferred over to Meade County.
So it's a done deal. It just needs to be transferred.
Correct. It's been voted. It was voted on by Fish and Wildlife in March, and the fiscal court voted to accept it. So as far as the voting side, that piece is done. We are waiting for Fish and Wildlife to finish the deed, because part of that, what would be pulled out of that is the gun range.
Right. So the gun range is not going to be out there anymore.
Well, no, it'll continue to be managed under Fish and Wildlife.
So you'd have to still get the online pass for Fish and Wildlife to go use the gun range.
Correct.
And then would the pass that they get for Otter Creek still work for that, or y'all going to have a different pricing system?
We'll have a different pricing system for Otter Creek, but we won't manage. So if you look at the road, there's a separate road that goes into the range.
Yeah.
And we won't have any. That is all part of. Will still remain under Fish and Wildlife for maintenance and all that stuff. So we won't own any of that stuff. About 40 acres plus.
Right.
But Otter Creek in itself, what we're looking at is doing a parking permit. And that's how we would charge. So right now, Fish and Wildlife does $3 a person per day.
Right.
Person. We're looking at a $5 fee per car.
So if a family of 5 went in under the previous rules, they would pay $15.
Yeah.
Correct.
But coming under the new ones, they'll just pay $5 for the whole. Yeah, that makes sense.
Can they get an annual pass so they don't have to keep paying?
They can.
Okay.
So we'll offer probably 3-day passes, and then also an annual pass. I think we're looking at $50 for that pass.
Yeah. Fish and Game does if you're a VA disabled veteran and stuff like that. Will y'all have those types of discounts as well? That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
for Meade Countyans, and then also for veterans and probably seniors.
That'd be good.
So isn't the gate gone? The gate's gone right now, isn't it?
The gate is inactive.
Okay.
And so we looked at some different ways of how to do that. We looked at a gate system, controlled access. The minuses, I think, outweighed the pluses. As much as that gives security, it also, the gate's going to break.
Right.
And when the gate breaks, everybody on the outside of the gate cannot get in, and there's going to be a long line of cars trying to get in and waiting for that one person, unfortunately,
to turn left.
Right.
Yeah, to turn left.
They got it.
And then beep beep.
Yeah.
And then you have to do the repair immediately. So what we're looking at doing is doing parking kiosks.
Oh, okay.
And so probably put a parking kiosk up in front, and then another parking kiosk down where
The creek is.
No, it'd be right by where the old nature center is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of
parking, and that's also a good center place where a lot of trails come into, and people can go out from that point.
a lot of places have moved to that. I was in the Great Smoky Mountains a couple of months ago, and they've moved to that parking kiosk.
I don't know. There's still something cool about having somebody at the window when you come through. And you got to wave and say, "Welcome to Otter Creek," and that personal touch. I wonder if you could have camp hosts that would work a shift and then work it that way.
Well,
I know you have looked at everything. I'm just, I always loved that about Otter Creek. Though,
I do. I know
in
what
the
you're
past.
talking about.
But I know it's expensive to hire people these days. They want to make McDonald's wages at, just kidding.
And so what we're consistently, and it is a matter of costing. Fish and Wildlife did that for a long time. Then they went to the pay online, and they figured for every one person that there actually is paying, they're losing 3 to 4.
Right.
Okay, but it was still more cost effective than having somebody at the front gate.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So I have questions about the outdoor recreation. So I get the fishing, I get the hiking, I get the bird watching, I get the disc golf, I get the wildlife viewing. But explain to me about the hunting. Is there still going to be hunting in
Yes.
Otter Creek?
So a part of us receiving Otter Creek is there will be a piece in the deed that actually says that we need to maintain hunting and fishing for perpetuity.
Will the hunting be gun hunting?
There is gun hunting currently that was allowed on Otter Creek, but it will be through kind of like a lottery, and it'll only be certain times. And I think majority of the hunting that they've done in the past it was archery only.
Right.
And we're in the process working with Fish and Wildlife over, what works.
Right.
And the reason why I say that, it's important for us to work with Fish and Wildlife on that, because there is management of wildlife that has to be maintained. Otherwise, the wildlife will eat everything.
Oh, they'll
in its
overpopulate.
Yeah.
The whole area. Yeah. That's a problem that they have over nearby in Doe Valley. Is
Right.
the deer oftentimes will overpopulate, and then there's no hunting in there, and so they have to cull the herds. And so I was just wondering how they would do that out there.
So that's why, the recreation part of the hunting and fishing has always been a very important part of the ability of the park to maintain that, and has always been right on, a topic of conversation over
Right.
how we will instead of how we won't. And when initially went to Fish and Wildlife, that was something that we talked about right up front, that we did not want to get rid of hunting and fishing, that it's a
Yeah.
part of
Oh,
the
yeah.
recreation side of the park.
For sure. So when people come to the campgrounds, do they bring their weapons that they're going to use, or their bow and arrows,
Yes.
or whatever? And then do they have to do anything, or they just keep them in their tent or cabin? I don't know.
I don't walk through the campground with it. But during the hunting season, I have hunters. They like to rent the cabins that I have there,
Right.
and they got their gear. And
So are there game wardens that come through?
yes,
Okay. So if let's say someone were to get a deer, it's deer season, they legally get a deer. Do they just bring it over to the cabin or their tent or whatever? I know when I was growing up and my family got a deer, it ended up in the tree, upside down, cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they do that there too?
they do that where out in the park itself, not
Yeah.
in the campground.
Not hanging there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I was just wondering like how that works. I love that you're still doing the hunting and the fishing. I love that it's going to be all encompassed like that.
Another part of that, Arlene, is we're trying to deconflict where people are using the park to where, again, when there are good times for those events to
Right.
take place. We don't want a high population in the park when we're bringing our hunters in. It's not good for anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Last year during their quota hunt, the way it worked is it was the second weekend in December, and so during that time, the place was closed down to the public. You couldn't access this golf course or anything like that. You can come to the campground or you can go to Pamingo. Everywhere else was closed to the public.
Right. The reason I was asking you guys these questions is because I pretty much knew that was going to be the answer, but sometimes people wonder, and they wonder how are they going to do that. So I thought this was a great opportunity for you guys to explain that safety first. You're not out there letting people run around willy-nilly hunting while other people with their young families are camping. You've got a sense of
Yeah, that's an equilibrium that we got to establish between hunting and the recreation side.
right, and it seems like you guys are doing that pretty well.
Yeah, and we're working with Fish and Wildlife exactly how do we need to do that, and they're going to be a part of that too. But there is coordination actions that have to go on with that, and of course, us being new, we need some assistance, and they know that. I've already had those conversations with them.
So do people go hunting at other places in Otter Creek other than just, what is it called, Garrettsville Creek? Is that Garnetsville? What is that?
Garnetsville.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Is that the main fishing place there?
That's the
And
easiest accessed one.
I guess the
yes.
Blue Hole as well.
And then
Can they
there's the
fish
Blue Hole.
there?
Yeah.
Are those the two main places
Those
to
are
go
the two main.
fishing? And
I
I've
mean, fishing is all up and down Otter Creek.
right.
You have access from the Ohio River to come back into Otter Creek, by boat. but when you look at the trout fishing, I think there's 3 access points where they will put trout in. The trout, based off of our environment, will not continue to live. So if it's not fished out, it'll probably die over the winter time.
Oh, I see.
I didn't know that until I asked that question.
Yeah.
But it's just, okay, well, they just kind of go from...
I wouldn't even thought to have asked that question. But that is interesting.
They stock trout. They begin in November, and they keep stocking it till June.
Yeah.
And during the summer months is when they quit stocking.
Right. And one of the things we're also trying to do, too, is look at how do we make the park better. So we've looked at a grant for river enhancement. The river enhancements really take care of 2 things. One, make fishing better. So the anglers and the fly fishermen are all on board with that. The Fort Knox is on board with that. And then also open the Otter Creek to being able to kayak it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
At one point you could, but again, through lack of maintenance, you've got debris that is built up. There's an oxbow. An oxbow is basically a big, where the river comes down, it bends real quick and then comes down.
Yeah.
Well, there's been so much debris that's been pushed down, it's actually blocked that oxbow.
Yeah.
And now the river goes around it. So again, how do we, management is a part of maintenance. And if you don't maintain and we don't keep up with it, then things get out of hand real quick.
Right, right. So it's a lot more involved than what I think the general population realizes. There's a lot more care and consideration that has to be taken into maintaining not just the campgrounds, but the overall park.
Yes.
Yeah. I can remember going there when I was a very young child, and there was that nature preserve thing. We had that there. We had that restaurant there for a while. I was really good friends with, and I still don't know because I was only like 3rd or 4th grade, but I was friends with someone who, her family lived in Otter Creek.
Probably know who they are.
Yeah, I mean, their last name was Rowe, R-O-W-E. And, but anyway, we used to go out there all the time. And so it was a big thing for Brandenburg kids to go out there and go camping and fishing and, hiking and, all sorts of things. So I am, as a citizen of Meade County, I'm excited to see how it's coming out. So I do know that we have talked about this before. You've talked about this before publicly, because all these improvements require funds.
Correct.
And so that's come up a lot. Who's going to pay for this? How's this going to happen? Where are we going to get the money to be able to make these improvements? So do you want to touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, I'm not a believer that this should be paid through taxpayer dollars. No different than the campground. When we took on the campground, we looked at what we were going to expend, and then we tried to look at what were we going to bring in. What was our profits going to be? And the first year out, we were able to make $50,000 over what our expenditures were. Again, and then what do you do with that money? You reinvest it.
Right.
Capital fund, we call it capital funds. It's reinvested into making it better, making something else better. That's not what was going on when it was underneath the city of Louisville. It just kept on declining, and less money came into it. So, we can't do everything immediately, but what we're trying to do is through grant funding, through different resources, trying to look at, again, how do we bring in enough funds, again, that we are able to pay for our employees, for our maintenance costs, for our utilities costs. One of the things we've worked out with the sheriff's department is they're going to put in, I call it the ranger station. There's a building there where they're going to move in some of their deputies into that. We're going to share that. So, again, that'll be a split cost for utilities in there. And, we will have security, we'll have presence, and also the ability to react, to complaints and issues that are actually going on in the park.
Right.
Because it's not centrally located close to where the sheriff's department is
Right.
currently.
Yeah.
So it gives them another location that they'll be able to, use as a platform. And I think there's going to be a benefit. And again, another big problem, and you talked about all those different facilities that you used to go and visit, and they've all been vandalized because of lack of presence.
Yeah, they're in rough shape, and several of them are well beyond saving.
Well, and you probably don't want people, teenagers or curiosity people just roaming in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's been happening for decades now, but
For sure.
we'll have more control over it, I would think, from this now. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, you're going to have the presence of the sheriff's department there, both through vehicles and drive-arounds and so on. And again, I think, when you show presence, you're actually going to eliminate a lot of the people that are coming in and just they don't care.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's a big portion of, if everybody cared, we wouldn't have litter.
Right.
And you wouldn't have, beer cans all over the place and blah, blah, down the line, because they would protect it as a resource like what we view it as. Unfortunately, though, not everybody looks at it that same way.
I'm gonna throw a steak at you. Ready? It's not the one you eat. It's like a stab. You took a lot of crap when you started adding people on to the county government. I know in your campaign, you campaigned solely on the idea of adding a grant writer to take on some of these projects, because I know we talked heavily about the infrastructure, that if we are to grow according to what was laid out in the plan, we would have to do more work in infrastructure. Since you've added a grant writer and took all that flack, how much money have you been able to raise for the county to support projects like this?
I wish you would have told me that you were going to ask that question. But
it's over probably a certain number.
Yeah, it's going to be over. I think last year we pulled in over $1.5 million.
Oh, wow.
So would you say that was more than enough to cover the salary of the grant writer?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Probably 150 times.
And then the addition and the business model for adding Otter Creek. Obviously, Zack is not going to be able to run that whole show.
No.
So taking on that is, but you've shown that Zack and the campground have more than sustained itself with a profit, which they haven't been able to do in quite some time.
Right.
And provided the activity or the amenity that its glory day probably once did. I don't think there's any swimming pool in anytime soon, but it does provide a lot of outdoor because of the adjacency to the Otter Creek. So consuming all of that, will you have to expand the operation and its employment staff?
Yes. So we're looking at probably hiring 3 more laborers. We're restructuring the staff, so as case in point, Zack will become an assistant manager. We have the manager from Parks and Rec. He'll step up. Stephen Powell, who's currently in charge of our Parks and Rec, he will step up and take control over both sides.
Okay.
So again, communication is key. And then being able to move employees back and forth based on the requirements and needs. We're taking another gentleman that works as a laborer right now. We're moving him up into the team lead, again, to manage the work and the requirements that are going on. Because, again, taking on the rest of the park is going to mean, how do we get it up to a standard where people want to come and visit?
Right.
That's the biggest complaint that we have right now. Grass isn't being cut. It's not being maintained.
Sure.
Trees are still down from the tornado.
Litter around the creek.
Yeah.
All of that.
Garbage isn't being picked up.
Right.
I mean, it goes on and on and on. You have to have people in
Make
order
those
to do
rounds.
that.
Yeah,
It just
for
does
sure.
not take care of itself.
It's like the well-oiled machine you see at the fairgrounds. There's no trash on the ground. So you're going to be having that type of operation, but you can't do it, obviously, with volunteers alone.
Correct. So the funding, the fees that we're charging will take care of paying for that.
Yeah.
There's nothing in life for free.
Yeah.
You know, it's the money has to come from someplace. And again, I'm not a believer that the taxpayers should have to do that.
No.
Right.
Unlike when you look at the parks in Louisville, those are all taxing districts.
Yeah.
The public
So the
pays for those.
taxes pay for
That's
the
correct.
upkeep of that.
So how do we get a kayak in operation back in down there? Because I would love to kayak that, but I was always told that because of the way the trees cross and lay down in there, you'd need a whole crew of kayakers to go through there, clear it out in one day, and rearrange all that stuff.
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know.
just-
I think I've seen kayaking and canoeing down in
You gotta wait for it's got to be up, or you're gonna be dragging it in a lot of spots.
That's true. Yeah, I say that, but then I have seen them get out of their vessel and then walk
move
it,
it.
and then get back in it again.
Right.
You know, when they've gotten to a deeper
the s-
spot.
So the stream restoration grant will take care of a lot of that.
Oh, awesome.
It'll be able to move. You know, I'm not an expert on the grant, but there is a grant that we will get in order to be able to, you know, clear the creek, if you want
Sure.
to say,
Right.
and make the creek back into, you know, removing the debris, removing the, you know, the down trees that have, you know, through flood waters have pushed,
Right.
you know, pushed into certain areas. I don't know if we get into moving rocks and things of that nature. I think we'll try to remain but it's to make the creek more accessible and more maneuverable, and then also more open to fishing.
Right. Right.
Okay.
There's some places where there's actual concrete in the water. Is that on purpose? Was the concrete put there like to create some kind of dam or flow?
Couldn't tell you, but normally where you put,
Like
if you put something
Big slabs of
across,
concrete.
if you put something across, it creates a backflow, which the sand and debris will stay on one side, okay, and it fills instead of making a big gap.
Yeah. I believe y'all had an opportunity to speak at the chamber. Y'all were talking about bringing back to life a lot of the horse trails and some other things.
Yep.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that and how that plays into feeding the campground? Will there be like horse stable camping, or you know, their horse trailer camping? I know that I've seen the tie-offs over near one of the gas lines.
Well, you know, our own Nancy Frazier went horseback riding out there just a few weeks ago. It hasn't been that long. She took her horses out there and they tied off and went riding.
Yeah, so horses have been a topic of discussion all day today.
Oh, awesome! Didn't know that this wasn't programmed. So go ahead.
Lisa Reynolds, my new executive assistant, it was big into horses, and so she was bringing up questions and are we doing this, and you know, I love involvement.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have all the answers, and you know, certain people do. I mean, they have bits and pieces, and that's how this thing is really come together. I mean, even with the campground. I mean, again, how do we make it better? But everybody has a little bit pieces of the puzzle.
Sure.
We've had an equestrian camping area in the campground, but it's not been highly utilized. So
It's a primitive
But
campground.
wouldn't it
so
be great to have a riding stable out there that was manned? People
Well-
could come out there and go riding.
So we actually have we're looking at one of the old camps. There was about 5 different camps that were involved in Otter Creek that was run by Louisville Metro. There was a Girl Scout camp. There
I went
was
there.
a church camp. There was multiple different camps. So one of these happens to be has a loop. There are some buildings that we need to take down, but it really lends itself to equestrian. You know, again, the horse.
Right, yeah.
People bringing in large horse trailers, and since it's a loop, we'd be able to clear spots for those vehicles to go in and
Pull
for those
through.
horses
Oh, yeah.
to pull in. You know, for those trailers to pull in, and then set up areas for them to tie off the horses, take the horses out, allow the horses to be outside. You know, I've learned a little bit about horses. You know, you don't provide water troughs because people don't want. There's diseases that are passed through
Right.
water troughs. So,
Right.
you let people water their horses the way that they want.
They want to.
They want to. So there's things that we can do, and then there's things that, you know, really, if you did them, they're not going to use them anyway. So
Right.
it's about getting smarter at the process of what's required. And you know, disease control is another thing, and we were talking about that. had no idea that horses brought in different diseases.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
no different than, bringing your dog or your cat into a groomer and or into a kennel. You have to have
You have to
their
have
shots.
those vaccinations. Yep.
Horses have
Yep.
certain shots that they're supposed to have too, and I never knew that.
Yep.
Found that out today.
Let's update that animal control ordinance. No, I'm just
I know
kidding.
it. I know.
And it was, but if we're not aware of something, you can't prevent something.
That's right.
And
That is right.
by knowing that, now we can put that into the requirements of people coming in. And from my understanding, it's not abnormal.
Yeah.
But I would never known to ask the question if somebody had.
If somebody hadn't told you. So I know that you and recently have created an advisory committee for Otter Creek. Tell us a little bit how that works. Is it a volunteer thing?
It is.
Okay, and how many people will you have on this?
Well, we've had a lot of volunteers wanting to get involved, and so we've tried to break up the committee into different areas. So, rock climbing. Again, what needs to happen with that? Mountain biking.
Oh,
Again, a committee on that.
Yeah.
Hiking, a different committee on that. Equestrians, again, different committee on that.
sure.
So that each committee can look at their areas and help and assist us in, again, answering those questions.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know, but once we become aware of things, then we may be able to go out and get a trail grant, and specifically for equestrian or hiking. We're looking at a grant right now that will basically define all the trail systems, and add trail systems within Otter Creek, and it'll be good for probably 10 to 15 years.
Right. So has there?
And it's under a grant.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Know.
Now, I've often thought about this because Otter Creek is a little bit away from any place where you can run in to get a few grocery items. Or I was reading a story the other day about this dad was taking his kids over to go crawdad hunting, and he said he stopped at Wilson's Bait and Tackle and picked up some stuff to go with him. So, do you think that there's any opportunity somewhere down the line to have like a little
Little general store.
inside of Otter Creek?
I think there's always possibility, but there has to be the requirement. There's a good idea. I'm a good idea fairy,
Right.
by the way. But one of the things I always like to look at is what's the return going to be, and then again from a business perspective, yes, it's convenient, but are we going to get the return on investment? And it may not be the first year, but how long is it going to take the county to get back the money that we're investing in something? Because we just don't. Again, I don't believe in unlimited funding, and I don't believe in, things aren't free, and so. The same thing applied with, we looked at these campsites before we went ahead and we did the investment back. And what's the return going to be? Are we going to make our money back?
Right.
And I think the answer is yes.
Yes.
Those sites are extremely easy. They're pull-throughs. It's just prime. So when we look at these different opportunities in the park, some of them are free. We'll get the services in free. But we want to extend, the opportunity for people to be able to utilize the park as a recreational procedure.
Right. I would love it to see that it would become one of our go-to places. We have the riverfront, we have Meade, and then just as quickly, Otter Creek fall out of people's mouths about something to do in the county.
There are such neat things that are in Otter Creek that nobody knows. I mean, I didn't know. The train derailment that happened in 1898.
Right.
Yeah.
There's still cars down there. Again, how many people would want to hike out and see where train wreck was?
Right.
Not read about it,
but actually
it was
see it
here, but actually see. See the train cars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
To me, that's cool.
The whole place is stoked in history.
Well,
You know.
oh, I know. And, it used to really have like little towns and all kinds of, there was a college out there at one point. I mean, there's a lot of information that people do not know that they could know.
We have,
and
a
that
we have a headless horseman.
yes, I knew about that too. So what motivated you? Because I can hear your passion and I can see that you're excited about this. And when you talk about it, it makes the people around you want to be excited as well. So what fired this in you? What stoked it to get you started and Otter Creek became a project for you?
Okay, so I will tell you where I found out. I'm not from Meade County, but what I will tell you is that as I went around and I campaigned, I had so many people talk to me about this thing called Otter Creek. About their experience at Otter Creek and why can't we get this back and everything else, and it was just a matter of time where opportunities kind of presented themselves. I really didn't know how in fact, I didn't know even Fish and Wildlife owned it.
Right.
But I found out through going to one of the conferences, Kentucky Parks System was there, and I asked them about this problem called Otter Creek. How could they make it better? And they said, "Not ours, but we'll give you who you need to talk to."
Right.
Made that went ahead and made that connection.
Right.
And went in there and started asking questions, and they said, "Hey, look, everything's on the table."
Right.
And I was absolutely amazed. And then from that, the campground has come. We went back in this year, again, presented it. Again, another opportunity.
Right.
Yes, we'd be willing to sign this over to you, and then it's been continuous.
And you've
process.
just been, and then is that when you became involved?
Yeah, that's whenever I came around.
So you came onto the Otter Creek staff along with the judge.
I came in February of last year is whenever I came around to it.
Okay, and was it kind of the same for you? You caught the passion. You wanted to be involved in trying something.
I've seen the job advertisement, and I decided to put in for it. And I remember Otter Creek as a kid.
Right.
Been there a couple of times, and here we are.
Well, let me tell you, you guys both have just been a huge blessing to Otter Creek. You've been a huge blessing already as far as anything that you've done that has helped to clean it up and bring it to the place it is now. And then the future of it, I think, is in good hands. I think you guys have great plans. I think you've got a great vision, and it's not unrealistic. Every single thing that you guys are talking about is absolutely attainable. I know that we're getting close to our time here, so I'm wondering, do either one of you have something that you want to share before we go ahead and start saying our goodbyes?
Yeah, out at the campground, was saying the 18 sites.
Yes.
We actually turned the power on yesterday.
Oh,
And
yesterday.
they are live today. Now,
Oh, how
yes,
exciting.
they are back onto the reservation grid,
Uh-huh.
and so they're ready to go.
So you advertised the reservations for people
I
to
just
come
did.
and stay. Right.
Yeah,
So-
I just
okay.
made the announcement
Oh,
right now.
oh, right now.
Yes,
Oh,
so go to the website.
This is
They're live.
exclusive. Woo!
Yeah.
You know, what Zach is really happy is that he doesn't receive phone calls from me and say when we turn it on.
That's going to be that's a big plus. Every weekend out there at Otter Creek, we do activities.
Right.
Sometimes they're big activities, sometimes it's small activities, but you can pretty much bet on cornhole, volleyball, badminton, the horseshoe.
Do you have karaoke out there?
We reserve karaoke for holiday weekend.
So I used to. Vicky and I used to stay at a campground in Iowa, and every Sunday after church time frame, they always did pine car derby races or Saturday. No, it was Saturdays. I forget what they did. I think it was bingo after church, but they did pine car derbies. They had their own pine car race car. I know that was a Cub Scout thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, them kids and their grandparents and parents were out there carving out cars and tuning them up, putting graphite on them, making them go as fast as they could, and it was like a big thing every weekend. I was surprised.
That sounds fun, though.
It was. It's kind of
Yeah.
neat. It was and it got the kids involved, and it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Judge Koch, do you have any closing remarks?
You know, I do. And I'd like to just say, Otter Creek is our park.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the neat things about it is that it hasn't been in Meade County possession really ever. We've still got a little bit of work. I wish I could give you the date when the deed is going to be signed over. We are currently working with the Department of Interior and with Fish and Wildlife, and it will come together. But I can't emphasize enough that it's our park.
Right.
I mean, it is just a phenomenal. There are very few counties in Kentucky that have a park like this, and this park is. I mean, it just has unfathomable, unimaginable resources that we can look at and develop. Again, into our park.
Is there gold in them there hills? No, I'm just kidding. We won't get mineral rights, will we?
I will tell you the gold, though, is in the history.
Yeah, it is.
And,
that's a good comeback. I love that.
American Indian history, and then just I mean, all the settlers that came through have written about Otter Creek. You know, the buffalo trace, and I mean, there's just so much stuff.
Well, Captain Morgan, the cave where he hid out in there.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you have Otter Creek has been a part of our heritage from the beginning of when settlers came through. Daniel Boone, again, they have all written about it.
Yep.
And that's a part of what I want to see back. Go into this. Yeah. Into the Otter Creek too is. What's our history?
Right, I love that.
How do we bring our history and educate people on this area called Otter Creek?
Sure, I got you. Well, thank you, Judge Koch. Thank you for Zach for coming out.
For the opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We're glad to have you guys.
We appreciate the opportunity to just share.
Yeah, I know we will probably be jumping up and down when the news comes out. So I mean, that's kind of what we're in the business of. So we'll as soon as we find out from you guys that it's official.
Don't you have that noise that goes woo?
Yeah, I do. Hold on.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we'll be. There you go. That's what we'll be doing.
That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. Well, and it'll be great because there will be no more gap between Meade County and Fort Knox because we will take that off of the state, and it will now completely butt up against Fort Knox without a gap between us.
And I think we're ready. I think Meade Countyans are ready.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah.
I think it's a great initiative, Judge. I think, Zach, you did a great job. You're doing a great job. I look forward to seeing the transformation over time. We should do like slow-moving cameras just so we can watch it. All the little things moving all over the place. But great work, guys. Thanks so much. Earlene? Got a paper coming out this Thursday.
Oh, yeah. We put it to bed this morning, sent it off to the printer. Some people will have it tomorrow. Everybody else will have it on Thursday.
Should be excited about this one.
We're very excited.
A lot of more highlights from the fair and some other things.
The word Meade County is peppered throughout the entire paper. We're just really digging in. We're sharing a lot about the schools. We're sharing a lot about the community. We're talking about people who have long heritage of living here in Meade County, sharing about the way it was and the way it is now.
Yeah.
So we're excited. It's a good paper. You guys need to pick it up and read about it and
subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Comes to your doorstep.
That's right. Easy.
Through the mail. Actually, it comes to your mailbox. I should say your doorstep.
I know.
We
don't have little kids on bicycles.
I could get
right
paper boys again. We could try it.
Wouldn't that be fun?
It would. Well, you guys all have a great day. Thanks for tuning into the show live from the Messenger Studios.